set the stage with a powerful phrase, wellness is self-love. When did you fully embrace that idea?
I think it's been a gradual embracing of it. The first steps became in me deciding to eat certain foods and remove things from my diet and just be aware of what I was putting in my body. Even if I was like, okay, I'm about to eat this, this chicken, I know okay, I'm making that decision.
Right.
I think as I started to learn more, I realized how important my spirituality had been in my life, and didn't think of it or crystallize it as a wellness component, but it is. My soul was being enriched, it was nurtured, it was growing, and I needed healing too, which came with different things from therapy to just like getting into meditation. But I would say it was a gradual journey, and I think it started to click in all together around 32, 33.
One of the things you made clear is the role of choice in ending up with chronic illness, unlearning bad habits, and creating routines. What are the choices you consciously make daily to stay on the wellness self-care journey?
Well, my mental health and wellness is very important, and that spiritual wellness is very important. So I begin my days with silence and prayers and reading and giving thanks to our Creator. And that communication reminds me of everything that I'm here to do, whether it's like just through the divinity of just reading and communicating with God and just like centering myself, and also, talking to God is something, and then being able to listen is even just as important. And I think, that sets the tone, and with that being the beginning of my day, it sets my intentions on what I want for the day. And that allows me to go out and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go work out because I want to take care of myself. I want to get to some of these goals that I talked about, that I'm praying for and that I believe in. And it's something, because sometimes when I work out a lot or work out good, I don't want to eat like foods is like the opposite of that, because it's like I didn't put in all this work to work out, even if, and I felt that many a times. And then sometimes it's the opposite. You be like, I put in all this work, I'm gonna eat my little desserts I want or whatever. So it's like kind of, for me, it's staying present in the development of my wellness journey. But what I do to stay at the beginning of the day is this unnegotiable is taking my time to pray and have a time to meditate and read the scriptures that I read. You're gonna get that from me, whether I'm on a plane, reading next to the person next to me, or in the car riding with my team, or I'm gonna get that in.
Tell us how tuning into how your body felt after meals contributed to the changes you made in how you eat.
Well, tuning into my body, how it contributed to the changes I made after I eat, how I feel. Man, that was very impactful, because I stopped eating pork and beef, and then I went back and said, I'm gonna try to eat this beef. It was about 3 weeks later, and I ate that beef. Now the next morning I was just like heavy. My mind was heavy, and I was like, man, I don't need to ask anybody. I don't need to read another book on this. This is like, this showed me what, I should be doing with my body. And it's important, like, I want to make it clear, it's like, vegetarian and vegan, that's not for everybody. That's not what this plight to wellness is about. Not like, be vegan. You need to work out for 3 hours a day. That's not what this is. This is about like, what works for you, and what steps are you taking to love and take care of yourself every day, and find that path. And sometimes those things change too. It's times where I've been vegan for a certain portion of my life, and then I went and started eating fish again. I still felt great. No shame to it. It's what I am. It's who I am. And I felt great, and I was clear, and that's what I needed at that time in my life. It's different things that, will speak to you, but it's important that you paying attention to yourself.
Yeah. So speaking of that, you talked about uncovering the pain to embrace the joy, to
Yeah.
get to the joy.
Yes.
So how do you suggest we look for the joy? How do we go about facing the painful moments to get to the joy?
Well, I think it's, it works, I don't know if the word is congruently, but parallel, like that you work parallel, because when you're seeking joy, you know the things that bring you joy, like certain things, or you should identify those if you don't know. Sometimes we get asked that question, what makes you happy? What brings you joy? You should know those things, because you should be able to go to those things when you need it. Or just naturally, it's part of your life. We deserve joy. We're entitled to that. But at the same token, parallel, you could still be working on healing the wounds and the pains that you've been through. Those things come from like real soul searchings. I mean, a lot of my healing happened because of going to therapy, and I was able to like dig into deeper things that I didn't even know about that I was dealing with. But it was like took a professional to identify those things and be like, hey, this is what this is right here. You are actually, have these fears in your life, and this is why you have these fears. And, understanding is really powerful. When you understand things, it becomes more of a threat to you, and less of a, you have less fear and trepidation about things when you do understand them. And, for me, that's the work. When you work on self, that you can work and you're able to get more joy. Like while you still seeking your joy and getting that joy in your life, you healing that, it just comes together, and you just overall just have a greater joy,
So you have a team of four people that help you
Yes.
in terms of achieving your goals. Do you think this book is giving us access to that team?
I think that this book is truly giving access to the team who's inspired me, who's the team who has changed my life. Starting with Lauren Vanderpool, who is an amazing chef and very well versed in nutrition. Just to be able to have somebody for me to have access to know, like even at times when I'm sick, some of the foods that I need to eat, or just when I'm focusing on something that's very intense for me, just having those foods have allowed me to be at my best self, and be my clearest. That has been one, and then having someone like Dr. Tracy Rico, who worked with my mother when she was dealing with some ailments and illnesses that got her to a healing place, but also every time I'm coming up with something, whether it's a cold or whatever, she like, take these things, and a lot of them are natural because she has introduced me or reinforced that our immune systems can be built up to be strong and to combat a lot of these things, integrated with emotional healing and foods, and those things help you to be stronger in healing and fighting off diseases. And then Pastor Teray was who I speak about, who is one of the spiritual leaders who I've been inspired by, and just is a person I see just like a reflection of myself in, but he speaks so well when it comes to just understanding your higher self and a higher power. And he speaks in such a practical way where you can apply these things. Because I'm always looking at things that I read that deal with spirituality on how can I live this? How can I make it grounded for me? Because it is coming from the heavenly realms, the spiritual realm. And then I talked with Susan Klein Schilling, who is my therapist, who I've used for years, and just talked about how therapy benefits. And I talked about how it benefited me. So in this book, I'm creating the access to these individuals who have sparked my life, changed my life, helped shape it, and also my trainer Yancey Berry, who gives simple workouts. So you can just look in the book and be like, okay, I can do these simple things. You don't even have to have weights and stuff, and you can get into it. And he talks about the benefits of those things. So for me, it's my theory of what I always like to call my Harriet Tubman theory of, man, if you get free enough to somewhere, whatever it may be, then you should go back and look out for those who may not have that access. And that's what this book is for me.
You talk about using purpose as fuel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When did you know you found your purpose?
Well, I knew I found my purpose. I really think I knew early on, like in high school, that I had a purpose. But I didn't know what that purpose was yet. But I felt something like, yo, I got something to give to this world. I wanted to discover what that was. And my thing is, we all do. People might have special gifts, but nobody is like greater than the next individual overall. It's just a child of God. So it's like once we all like figure out, oh man, what is my purpose and like what am I supposed to give? Like I feel like the teacher who's teaching the class, they're just as powerful as the entertainer who's bringing the joy through entertainment. It's just like a bigger number of people, maybe the entertainer, maybe, but look at the impact that the teacher may be having, or the healer, holistic healer, you know that. So I started to discover like, oh, this is purpose filled when I started making music that people was responding. Like one gentleman came up to me, and it might have been in New Jersey. It was a long time ago, but it was at a time where I released a song called Retrospect for Life, and it was about abortion. And it was featuring Lauryn Hill, and this gentleman came up to me after the show, and he said, man, your song made me decide to have my child, made me not have an abortion. Him and his partner. And I was like, man, that's powerful. I'm thinking, I just wrote what I was going through and how it impacted him. Man, it's somebody that's living right now because they responded, because his parents responded to that song. So that for me made me feel like, oh, this music is greater than just my own satisfaction of just being dope. It's got some purpose to it, and I can express that in certain songs. And then, I started to find that in acting too, because my acting coach would always tell me you can heal and inspire people just by being truthful as an actor and telling a story of a truthful character. People get healed watching movies and inspired by those things, so go to those depths. So I felt like the overall purpose was discovered as I continued to go on, but I was able to crystallize it as I got into acting.
If there is one thing you want people to get out of this book, what is it?
That you have the power to be joyful, to be healthy, to like really love yourself and take care of yourself. No government, no family member, no job can detour you from the love of yourself and what powers you have and the joy you can create in your life. Thank you.
Yeah.